Today we are talking about user experience for communities. Why UX, you may wonder? What does it have to do with us community professionals? Well, I think I have a confession to make. I owe around 40% of this talk to my fiance. He's a product designer, and our dinner conversations are always something like 40% A/B testing, 40% user testing, user research, and then 20% we are just a couple fighting for should we add more salt to the meal or not. But jokes aside, we do love what we do, we do love our careers, and we talk a lot about what we do. And one night he was explaining to me how they were looking at a full story from some users, and they were making decisions on that, and they were observing that they got the wrong touch points. And I was like, okay, can you rewind? Where is this coming from? Because I also am looking at full stories, right? So this is how I got into the rabbit hole of design thinking, design principles, and I realized that we as community professionals need to look a lot at what we do from different perspectives. Might be design thinking, might be social psychology even. But here today I will be telling you about design, but first a little bit about me. She awesomely introduced me, but I'm the community team lead at Printify and Printful. We have two flagship communities, two ambassador programs, and one learning and mentorship community. I've been in growth marketing first, and then I discovered community, and I never got back to marketing anymore. I'm just doing community, and I love that. But enough about me. Today we're here for this. If there is one thing that I would like to leave you with today is that great communities are not built, they are designed. What you're seeing here are actual principles from the Google 5-day design sprint, which I'm going to be talking about today, and are my favorite principles that I apply on a daily basis, not just about strategy, could be about brainstorms, could be about anything. And I would really like to show you how our careers may be overlapping, and there is a lot of theory that we can get from people like product designers. So interestingly enough, empathy and design thinking was created in Stanford, founded in Stanford University in 1960. And empathy has always been the first principle since then. Empathy is actually my favorite principle. I think that being empathetic and being human is at the core of what we do. So yeah, product designers in their first day of their Google 5-day design sprint, they are not doing prototypes, they're not doing sketches, they're empathizing, they're asking questions, they're looking at stories, they're examining surveys, and they're really connecting with the member. And if you can imagine, it's very similar for us in communities as well. I am talking to the people, I'm looking at surveys, maybe in a DM, maybe in a Zoom, maybe I'm looking at full stories, I'm looking at the analytics, I'm asking them a lot of questions and more. And yeah, it's basically the same spirit, just a different habitat. An example from our learning community that we launched 1.5 years ago is that when we started, we knew that some of the people needed learning, they needed mentorship, but we didn't know how to connect these people because we work with print-on-demand merchants and they are very different. So we did 2 extensive surveys, we did a lot of interviews, we talked to the people, and we wanted to understand what do they want to achieve, what are they struggling with right now, so that we can provide them the resources to actually help them achieve that. So what we found out is that we have a lot of people from different demographics, but there is patterns that unify them. For example, we have art people, craft-obsessed hobbyists who want to sell their art somehow, but don't have much time and just prefer doing their art than the business. Then we have a lot of moms who, aside from looking after their children, they want to start a side hustle and earn some money and income for their family. And then we also have people like students who just want to make some extra money and start their own business. So a lot of hustlers, but limited on time, limited on resources. So we needed to build something for them that's easy, something that's targeting and tailored to their experience as members. And here my GIF is not playing, but they're all like this. And right now we have more than 1,500 paying members in this community, and some of them are already making some money. And we love that for them. We love hearing their stories, and it always makes me go and celebrate them as well. But there is also a darker side when you skip this step, when you skip the empathy part. And here I want to share a story from around 6 years ago when I was working for a startup. You can imagine you need to wear a lot of hats there, do everything. One day my boss comes up to me and he's like, you need to build a community till Friday. And it was Thursday on LinkedIn. And I was like, okay, I will do that. So what did I do? In less than 72 hours, because I obviously needed to eat, sleep, I did this community. I popped a few people in there. I popped them a welcome message. I asked them to introduce themselves. But obviously that was not working out. It was a huge failure. I had lost not only my time, but also a lot of social capital that I couldn't then get back in return, even though I worked for 3 months to rebuild it. How do you convince someone that's left a LinkedIn group? I don't know if you've ever left a LinkedIn group, but I'm not sure that many people do that, but a lot of people left that LinkedIn group. So a lesson stayed with me, and it's staying with me to this day, and I always repeat it to my team members as well. Listen first, slow down, empathize, ask the right questions. You should be curious about your members, because those are the people that are gonna tell you what you need to do better. So yeah, don't do that. Something actionable, though, that I would like to leave you here with, and here imagine this sheep is like jumping around, is something that I like doing at least monthly right now, but my team members, they really do it every week. It's having at least 5 conversations with your community members. And these conversations should be based upon 3 simple questions. 3 questions that very often can end up giving you scope, can end up showing some patterns as well. And these 3 conversations can be 5 conversations can be very, very meaningful to you. So the first question is, what is your biggest success at the moment? What's something you're proud of? We need to start celebrating these people. We need to go into the conversation with something positive, something that's about them, because we really want to know them. And you shouldn't be going to the same members. Don't do that. I know it's easier because you see them around and they're more vocal, but you should be going to those people who maybe you see hanging in there, not commenting so much, but they joined recently, or they're seasoned members, but just liking the posts. So really be careful with that. After you celebrated them, go into the second question, which is, what is something that you're struggling with? And how can we help you? These people are not going to tell you, sometimes they are, but they're not going to tell you, I'm struggling, I don't know, with my 3-year-old because he doesn't want to eat raspberries or something. They're going to tell you something that they're struggling with within their business. And here you can see very clear patterns. Here you can observe where you can help. And finally, you should close this conversation with the question, what can we do better to support you? These conversations take you around 20 minutes if you do it via DMs. If it's via Zoom, maybe it's even longer. You really need to have them, though, and they can really, really make you make you discover new patterns and new areas for growth for you, for your community, and even maybe for your business. But what do we do after we know what we need to tackle? After we've empathized, we know the members, and we really know what they need from us. How do we do it for them? This brings me to the next principle, which is expansive thinking. Expansive thinking for product designers means going wide first and then narrowing down. Expansive thinking is the place where we play, we ideate, we explore. You're not going to see a product designer settle on their first idea. Sometimes we are very stubborn with our first ideas, but we shouldn't be doing that. They might be great, they might end up being great, but very often those are not the best solutions. So that's why we go wide first and then we narrow down. We do prototypes, sketches as product people, but in community, I like to say we have 2 monsters. This is how AI helped me visualize them. and this is how I also explain it to my team. These two monsters are the creativity monster and the doubt monster. We first should let the creativity monster roam around. The creativity monster is gonna put all of the toys out there, it's gonna build some new toys with Legos, and it's just gonna be like a fantastic beast roaming and running around. Then this beast is gonna go to sleep, and the doubt monster is gonna come out. The doubt monster is gonna go, and it's gonna inspect every single one of these toys, leaving us with the best ones that we need to play with. And this is how we do it, even in my team. An example is a couple of quarters ago, our newbies cohort, we observed that their activity levels dropped from weekly to monthly. This meant that these people were missing something. Maybe we were not welcoming them well. Maybe there was something else. Maybe they needed a buddy because we are like big communities. So what did we do? We first did a workshop. We found out who they are, what's happening, and then we went on a Miro board. And for 15 minutes, full silence, we put all of our ideas down. When I mean all of the ideas, you can even write something that seems impossible. I'm not gonna say raise my eyebrow, I'm not gonna say anything. Just go and play with it. Just think about these members and what you want to achieve, and put all of the ideas on the ground for you to see. Then after these 15 minutes, we go back and we start discussing. And we start asking questions. We start doubting each other. And I always encourage my team to be really critical when we put the doubt monster on. Because we really wanna see what we want to stick with, because sometimes we have too many ideas and you cannot use all of them, or you cannot test for all of them. But yeah, when we did this, we achieved a rich variety, and this rich variety quickly on our next survey, on our next interviews, fixed everything for us, and now we are still good to go. However, this is a continuous process, guys. It needs testing, it needs a lot of insights, analytics, so we need to be there. But yeah, when we have all of these ideas, when we have these great things that we are thinking that are gonna work, sometimes they do not work. And the fast way to understand if something is working or not, it's through experimentation. Experimentation is the principle that's gonna save your beep so many times. I've been there before when I'm trying to launch a big bang idea that I'm working for 3 months on, and then we launch it and it's not working. Let's break it into pieces. Let's test. These tests can really save us, and this continuous experimentation is actually gonna save us a lot of missteps, a lot of money, and step by step we will grow through it. An example, though, of how these experiments can look like, they don't need to be like huge A/B tests, although we do that. We test landing pages, we test TNAPs, we test everything from all of our flows, but a micro test can also be extremely helpful. For example, we use Circle for our learning community. We tested 2 welcome messages for the members. One without an emoji, and the other one, quite simple, with a horn, sign, rockstar emoji, because we call some of them rock stars, and we talked about this yesterday as well, branding your community with a name. But anyways, interestingly or not so interestingly enough, the welcome message with the emoji signs got 20% better open rate. No surprise, but the power of one emoji can be huge, and we really don't need to underestimate it. But yeah, with this thought, I want to say that these tests don't need to be huge. You can also do micro tests, and those micro tests are gonna also save you and tell you a lot. So to bring it all together, empathy, expansive thinking, experimentation, this is an infinity loop. This is something that it's not stopping at the first time you do it, you uncovered everything. This is a continuous thing that I do in my day-to-day. Maybe one day I do experimentation and expansive thinking all at once for different things, but this is how we roll, and this is how we are great, and this is how we bring our strategy together. Because great communities don't happen by chance. They happen by design. Thoughtful, empathetic, expansive, and iterative design. And with this, I want to leave you, and I want to thank you all for being here today, for building spaces that matter, and for being there for your members. It's been a pleasure.